It just buzzed in my back pocket. So that's why.
Oh. Well, that being said, hello and welcome to everyone who is watching the Written Melanin channel, wherever this may have found you. I'm so glad that you are here. My name is Chelsea, better known as CM Lockhart, and I'm here with the one, the only, the amazing, the absolutely spectacular Audra Russell, and we are here to bring some melanin to your pages, you guys. And it has been an interesting.
I feel so special.
You should. So today is gonna be great, you guys. So it's gonna be wonderful.
Listen.
Yeah. So Felicia's here, La is here, Ben is here, Rain is here. Hello, welcome you guys. I hope you guys are doing well, thriving this beautiful Tuesday morning. Just a gorgeous Tuesday.
It is a beautiful. I just walked my dog, and it is breezy and beautiful. It feels like a fall day or a early spring day. It does not feel like August in Maryland.
Well, it's probably going to be an interesting fall because it was an interesting summer, and that's just kind of where we're at in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else. So I'm not mad about it because I don't like being hot.
Listen, I'm not mad about it either because menopause. I be sweating already anyway. I don't need any added heat.
I'm dead.
Just say it. I don't need any added heat. You know I got my fan right over there blowing right on me. You know that.
I had to turn mine off because mine is just too loud and it'd be bothering me. But also, Jay is here and Miss Woman of Color Reader came in. Hello, welcome. Yeah, Texas is wild for a lot of reasons, but also the heat.
But yeah. Chelsea throwing shade at Texas.
As someone who formerly lived in Texas.
That's right, you did. So you get to you can do that. Mm-hmm.
And my husband is from Texas, so yeah, Texas is wild for a lot of reasons.
Oh man.
So yeah, we're gonna give people about 2 more minutes to come in, get comfortable, pull up, grab your coffee, do whatever it is that you need to do, and then we're gonna get into this because it's been interesting. The internet has been wild these last couple of weeks. Like
wild. The internet is wilding out.
Crazy. And I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now. Normally I don't say this to the end, but if you are not signed up for the after chat, y'all are gonna want to join for this episode. Promise you. $5 gets you in. There is a link in the description box below. Just trust me on this one. But yeah. Let's see here. Miss Woman of Color Reader said, I went for a walk this morning and it's starting to get hot now, but it did feel like fall earlier. Yeah. I haven't been outside, thank God. I don't plan to go outside for another couple of days if I can manage it. But, it looks nice from the window.
It's beautiful.
I believe you. Not gonna test that theory.
I think I have my pods in the wrong way again. I really hate pods, but I'm trying not to wear my regular earphones.
Oh. I don't know. I have my headphones from back when they still came in the box with cell phones. They don't do that no more, so I can't help you. So nope. I don't know what I'm gonna do when these break.
Well, these are from my Roku, and I bought a box of earbuds from Amazon, but they're so hard in my ears.
Yeah, I like the soft ones. Are you guys recording the after chat for playback? Yes, we are recording it. So I forgot to mention this because my brain doesn't always work at full speed. Sorry, y'all know this about me. The last after chat, I didn't upload it because we were name dropping specific people, and I was just like, yeah, we're not gonna have that for posterity. Either you were there or I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're gonna leave that at that. But this one should be is gonna be recorded. It's gonna be uploaded. So no worries. So another reason to go ahead and sign up for the after chat. Just because it's recorded. So even if you can't watch it like right now, you can still figure out what we said. But that being said, we got a lot to cover today, so 5 minutes. We're going to go ahead and get into these spotlights for this week. Audra dropped an episode of her podcast today, so make sure you guys go check it out. And I believe that's her book for this week as well, so I'm going to go ahead and let her go, and then we're going to get into this.
Yes, my book is Stolen Pieces. It is a thriller by J.R. Mason. I did drop the episode today. It is wonderful. The book is so twisty and plot turny, and I did not see that killer coming at the end. I absolutely did not see it. Did not see it. It says, lock your doors. The Peace, Piece, keeper is watching. This riveting, fast-paced psychological thriller reads like an epic crossover event of Criminal Minds and Law & Order SVU. Detective Claudia Martinez feels eyes on her, often. But she tries to convince herself that the ominous presence she's felt daily since solving her last homicide is simply grief manifesting itself, that no one is really in the shadows, lurking, waiting, watching. But once dismembered body parts are discovered on display in highly visible inner-city locations, Claudia begins to worry that someone is stalking her cases and murdering the individuals associated with them. As they inch closer to finding the killer, Claudia slowly realizes that she may be the object of her suspect's ire when the threats start hitting too close to home. As the killings quickly escalate, her squad must hunt down this vicious predator before the next stolen piece comes from Claudia. Now, it says content warnings. Now, I will tell you, I'm a sensitive reader, and this did not bother me. There's nothing graphic. It says, not intended for readers under the age of 18, though the book contains no graphic violence or vivid descriptions of domestic violence. It does reference sexual assault, mentions of domestic violence, strong language, child-related trauma, bodily dismemberment, sexual situations, extramarital affairs. But like I said, I'm a sensitive reader, and it was appropriate to the story, but it was not gory in detail. I was just more like, who the hell is the killer? So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting. Like,
It was, when I say it was page turning, I was like, who the hell? Every time somebody wanted to stop me from reading to do something, I was like, can we please just let me read this book? Because I need to know who it is.
she's like, can we just put this off just for a little bit? Just for a
Right.
little bit.
Just for a minute, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as y'all know, the link for that book is down in the description box below. And like I said, Audra dropped her podcast for it. So go ahead and listen to the interview for that as well. And I wanted to let you guys know my pick for this week. So my book for this week is Her Own Happiness by Eden. I hope I don't mess up her name. Apia Kubi? I don't know how to say her last name. But we are TikTok mutuals, and she's cool people. This is also the author of The Bennett Women, and I'm gonna go ahead and preface this with all the things that I tell y'all about. I ain't read this book, but I like the cover, and like I said, we're TikTok mutuals, and this book is coming out in a couple of weeks, first week of September. So we all know how pre-orders help authors, especially Black authors. So if it sounds something that you might be into, for sure, get into it. So. But this is a contemporary romance for new adults. I believe it's college age specifically, which I also thought was interesting because I feel like we're getting more books in that genre, or that age demographic rather. And the description from the book reads, it's never too late to come of age in this compassionate and refreshing novel about friendship, self-discovery, and moving on by the author of The Bennett Women. Maya Davis is living in paradise until her apartment, her career, and her dreams fall away in a horrible and dramatic fashion. Suddenly, she's packing her life into 2 suitcases and heading back to her parents' home in Maryland, scrambling for a plan B. Happy 31st birthday, Maya. Right beside her is Ant, Maya's best friend. While she's returning home, Ant's leaving his for the first time. Even though he moved away to start his own adventure, Ant can't seem to separate himself from Maya, and he's not too sure he wants to. Thinking practically for once, Maya makes her top priority finding a career, or at least a job with health insurance. But when she's drawn into the orbit of M. Viviant, I think that's how you say it, the influential girl boss decides Maya has potential. Suddenly, there are new contacts, new clothes, and the possibility of a shiny new future that could make this move home worthwhile. But is Maya finally in control of her life, or is she losing it? Just as Ant's platonic feelings for Maya deepen, his best friend in the world seems to be moving on without him. In this tender and vibrant novel, Maya learns that finding the right path might not matter as much as finding herself and who's beside her on the journey. So I thought it sounded kind of interesting. It kind of gave me the Devil Wears Prada vibes, and I really I enjoyed that movie.
I love that movie. I love that. I've seen that movie so many times. I could say every line.
I can't say every line, but I love the moment where she's just like, well, they're all the same. Like it's just blue,
It's just blue.
and
And
she's
she's,
like, and
excuse me.
everybody in the room is just like, you did not just say that. Like,
She's
come
like,
on.
we're trickle down to the bargain, whatever.
Yeah, the bargain bin, so that girls like you can go pick out a sweater that is just blue when it was hand picked for you. Like, oh, okay. Humble.
Hey, Montrez, how are you?
Hey, girl, welcome, welcome.
Welcome. And J.K. Lambo, hello, hello.
Hello, DL came in too. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So yeah.
Yeah, she said she'll be back. She's gonna watch it back later. She's on site today, so she
That's
can't
fair.
watch.
That's fair. That's fair. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I also really like the part in The Devil Wears Prada where homegirl is just like, she messed up and she was like, my kids want the next Harry Potter book, and she's like, okay, great, I'll go to the store. She's like, no, they've already read that one.
The Ark.
And she's like, how am I supposed to do that? And homegirl literally gets the manuscript and prints it out for her kids to read on the train. It's just like
3 copies.
Yeah.
One for each of the twins, and one that's on her desk.
Yep.
And she's like, anything else? She's like, like, yeah, but you ain't got nothing to say now, huh?
What's she gonna say? What's she gonna say?
Right, exactly.
So that being said, you guys, y'all know that the links for the books are down in the description box below. Both of them take you to the Melanin Library. And you know, if you get the books from there, then you're helping to support the Melanin Library in your own little way. So it's much appreciated. So that being said, let's go ahead and start talking about some of the stuff that has been happening on the internet this week, because it has been wild, crazy. And I'm just like, literally like, oh, we don't do the Melanin Chat every week no more. Maybe we need to adjust this, because y'all book talk girlies are out of pocket. Like, and I say y'all like collectively, not calling out anyone specifically, but like, yeah.
I mean,
Yeesh.
I don't book talk, but DL mentioned it in her latest episode. The stuff going on with there were 2 things. There was this book talker, I guess, that was sexually harassing somebody.
Yes.
So
Okay, we're gonna have to talk about that.
yeah, you could talk about it. I listened to her episode. I was just like, okay, well,
Yeah.
all right. So yeah, go ahead, Chelsea.
Okay. First of all, I'm gonna say this before I get into this. I am not on book talk. I am on author talk, and it is completely different. We got a little bit more sense over on that part. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Like, I am observer, okay? If we are at a play, everybody else is on stage, and I'm in the back near the exit ready to make a quick leave, okay? Like, we are, nah. But, so I don't even know all the details because it was just happening everywhere at the same time. And I was just like, what is happening right now? So y'all can jump in, because I know some of y'all definitely have way more information than I do. But from what I can gather, okay, there was this girl on TikTok who is problematic, because I believe this is the same girl who called herself the queen of book talk or whatever, and they were like, queen of who? Queen of what? And she's a black girl, but she does not read diversely. And when I tell you, like, y'all was just coming out of like left and right, all this I know so much information about this girl at this point. I ain't never been on her page a day in my life. Anyway, she comes out and she's got, like, I guess this deal with this hockey team. I think it's called, like, I don't know, not the Seahawks, but like,
I believe it is the Seahawks. That's what
is it the
DL
Seahawks?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she got this deal with this hockey team because, you know, there's a whole demographic of romance novels where it's sports romance or whatever. And so she had a thing, they were like collaborating, and I guess she was, I don't want to say sexualizing, but essentially sexualizing some of the players, and they were profiting off of it because Book Talk was following them and they were making money, whatever. It was a mutually beneficial thing until it got out of pocket. It got out of hand. And then all of a sudden, people are like sexually harassing these players, like online and in their DMs, to the point where people are literally like, yo, this is making me uncomfortable. But the part that I got clued in on all of this happening, because like I said, I don't pay attention to this girl. I'm not paying attention to what's happening, right? Is home dude's wife got on the internet. It was like basically like, y'all are weird. Stop
Like, show
DMing
some
my
decorum.
husband.
Stop being so crazy.
Yeah, like it's all cool. Yeah, he's attractive. Like I like him too. That's why I married the man. But also, can y'all stop DMing my husband pictures of yourself and saying you want him to do disgusting things to you? Like that's weird. And they got like they jumped on her like it was nothing. It was like to the point where I saw was a screenshot of him being like, look, I have media training, so I really don't say nothing. But like, y'all are goofy. Y'all are weird. Stop attacking my wife. Stop commenting on pictures of our family with our children. And I'm just like, y'all really done found the girl's personal social media and y'all harassing the baby over this man who you ain't never laid eyes on in real life? Y'all are weird. Y'all
But
are
then
weird.
DL said that, I think this is the same thing where she said, because my brain don't remember stuff, but she said that then that she was turning around talking about why aren't y'all defending me, and they were like, we remember you, baby girl, because you were just like, I'm not reading black books because I don't want to read struggle. So
Yes, because the TikToker does not read diversely. She doesn't, and she's like very problematic. Very problematic.
specifically said she didn't want to read black books because she didn't want to read struggle, and now she want black people to come and protect her. Like,
Honestly, I find it weird to be like fetishizing human beings to that point. And then the whole conversation about like consent came up, and people were like, well, you're a public figure, so you don't get to say what people do and do not think about you. And I'm like, that's weird. It's funny how y'all flip the script to that real quick, because you want to talk about bodily autonomy and like having consent, and like y'all like the conversation on the internet was like, oh, men always want to say they don't know what consent is, but everybody understands the word no. But then when you get told no, you want to act like I don't understand. Like you're a public figure, like you consented to this, like you said, like consent cannot be revoked at any time for any reason. Like y'all are weird. What? And I'm just like, and then apparently
I can say yes right now, and I can say no 2 seconds later, and the no is what
the no
stands.
stands. And so with the whole thing with the players or whatever is apparently after all of this happened, like obviously the Seahawks or whoever the hockey team
Yeah.
basically they stopped following her, they disassociated with her, like completely dropped her, and she was like, oh my god. And then also other athletes started coming out being like, yeah, this has been going on for a while and y'all are scary. Like, and I just found that particular part, the y'all are scary part, to be
Right.
hilarious, because I also find the romance book talk and romance community to be terrifying. And I'm like, yeah, nah. Every time I think about even writing, dabbling in romance, I'm like, they are terrifying. I am not built like that. I am a toddler on the high school bus, okay? I do not need to be here.
Woo! Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Poor DL, we ain't coming for you, baby. We know you a romance writer, but apparently, your community got some sketchy people.
It's not even the authors who scare me. It's the readers. They're terrifying.
Wow.
Y'all are a
Wow.
couple of y'all are about 2 hinges loose of a full secure door. Okay, I can't. No.
You said they're 2 slices short of a loaf.
couple,
All right.
couple chocolate chips short of a cookie. Okay, we're not.
Oh my goodness. I can't. I can't. And you know what? Miss Woman of Color Reader says she's a Colleen Hoover fangirl. If I hear this woman's name one more time, who the hell? Obviously, it's some white author that I don't really want to know about. But who is this Colleen Hoover, and why are people up this woman's butt?
Colleen Hoover is a very, very. I mean, honestly, I don't know anything about the woman. So let me preface that. I don't know nothing about the woman, but the books. Let me tell you, when I tell you ain't got nothing but problematic people, nothing but toxic relationships in those books, and they're very mature, and they are pushing them as young adult. I think for like to like teenagers, and it's a very, very like toxic, like physical abuse, emotional abuse, all of that type of stuff in her books. and
Mm.
domestic violence, all of that in her books, and they're like pushing it to teenagers, and people are like, no, do not give that to teenagers. And my mom actually read 2 of the books, and when I love my mom, because you know what? Quick aside, right? About my
You
mother.
just looked her up. She looks problematic. People asking, "Can a 14-year-old read this?" And they're like, "No,
No.
because it has erotic, explicit sex scenes and domestic abuse. I don't want to read all that."
But my mom read the books, and I know that I am a judgmental type person when it comes to books, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm like this. And I was talking to my mom, I was like, oh, this is where I get it from. It's inherent, apparently, because
So she's the same way.
when I tell you, my mom was dragging those books because her book club read it, and when they first read it, she contacted me. She's like, because you know it's a book club with all older Black women, so she was like, if this is the book club pick, clearly this has to be a Black author. So she comes to me and she's like, is it on the Melanin Library? And I was like, Colleen Hoover sure is not.
No, ma'am.
You're gonna have to go straight to Barnes and Noble for that one. I'm so sorry. and, and she was
Your
like,
mama was like, "Why they read this if she ain't Black?"
literally, that was her question. Almost word for word. And I was just like, I can't help you. This is your book club. This is your social group. I'm going to need you to deal with that yourself.
Y'all need to pick better books. Y'all need to get somebody else in charge of picking the books.
And so she was reading it. And she was like, she got halfway through the first one and she called me. She's like, Chelsea, what is this? I was like, you the one that read it. And when I tell you, she went ham. She was like, the writing is trash. She was like, the plot is poor. She was like, I was with this little so and so person. I'm not gonna, if you have a Black mother, you know what she said about this. I'm not gonna fill in the blank. But she said, you know, I was with this little so and so person until about such and such page. But then I was like, well, damn, just leave. What the hell are you still talking to this man for? And then she's talking about all the crazy stuff that happens, and apparently there's a whole third person who comes into the mix, and she's back and forth and in between, and she's like, you know what? I wanted to punch this so-and-so person in the throat. And I was like, see, I've been talking to you for way too long, because that's not even your saying. That's my saying. But that's fine. And when I said she was mad. And she was like, she got to the end and she was just skimming the pages so she could talk about the book club. I was like, I'm dead.
Wow. And Miss Woman of Color Reader says Colleen was also a member of a Black book group on Facebook where they were pushing her books heavily. See, this is my problem. You get these white folks that write this trash, and then they keep getting publishing contracts. People keep putting out their work.
She's self-published, I believe.
Really?
She self-published, and then she blew up on TikTok, and then she got a contract.
But they gave her one.
She was already successful. Like, if you already making money, yeah, they're gonna hop on your bandwagon.
Okay, whatever.
You know? I mean, that's what
sounds to me like these books is some trash that don't really need to be read. I don't understand why people are her fans, because every Black person I have spoken to has trashed Colleen Hoover. So
I mean,
whatever.
I'm gonna say something controversial, and y'all can disagree with me if you like, but it's my channel, I'm gonna say it anyway. I think that most books that are published are trash, honestly. I think it's like being generous, like an 80-20 ratio, where 80% of the books that are published ain't no good, and then you have that 20% that's just like, oh, this is great, this is amazing. Most books that are published are not, in my opinion, my humble opinion, right, are not, you know, like, oh, I really want to read this. And I say that as someone who, like, I know that I don't read a whole lot, but part of the reason I don't read a whole lot is because I be trusting these people on the internet sometimes, and y'all be like, go get this book, and I be like, okay, I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna go get it.
Not that laugh.
And I crack it open. I be like, this is the driest, most uninteresting, predictable thing I ever done read in my whole life. Like, that's like me going to go watch a Disney movie and being like, wow, I don't know what the end is going to be, and being shocked. That's what I feel like the plot is for some of these books. Like, how do you not know what the end is going to be? Like, yes, Ariel's going to end up with Prince Eric, okay? Everybody saw it coming from the moment the two characters were introduced, okay? This was not even interesting. Like, the journey wasn't even interesting. At least Ariel got attacked by a sea witch, okay? At least a sea witch was actively trying to steal her man. At least she had a singing crab in the background talking about kiss the girl. You know, at least we had some entertainment along the way. But y'all be out here just being dramatic for no reason.
Look, Miss Wood, the color reader says she blew up on BookTube first, and then TikTok found her during the pandemic. See, that's the problem right there. A lot of people were loving these books because they had pandemic brain. They didn't have nowhere else to go. They couldn't go to the libraries. They couldn't go out, and they needed some stuff in their life. And this shit seemed good when you are completely isolated by force, not by choice. That's pandemic brain, and a lot of these books were written by pandemic brain, and they were consumed by pandemic brain, and y'all got to come up. We 3 years out now. COVID is now endemic. It's just like the flu or anything else. You're gonna get it at some point if you go outside. No matter how careful you are, it's just like the flu. It's just like a cold. So I need y'all to get off the pandemic brain and stop calling these trash books good reading. I mean, that's just my opinion.
To be fair, I feel like in the pandemic, it was people needed the drama, and you can only watch soap operas so many times, and you need something new, and it's just like everybody was home. Cool. But I also think, this is also problematic opinion. I don't care. It is what it is. I also think that most people who read books are not reading to think critically. They read to be entertained, and that's why they pick it up. They're not trying to think critically. They're not trying to pay attention. They're not trying to guess the plot. I realize that some people don't even see pictures in their heads, and I'm just like, okay, that's cool. But also, your experience with reading is going to be very different from mine.
From mine, yep.
I'm just like, if I'm reading a book, first of all, I'm going to try to guess the plot. It's not even that I need to be wrong, but I want to be like surprised when I'm like, oh, wait a second, didn't see that coming. And I want it to be well aware and not just like, oh, surprise, here's a hammer out of left field. Like, no, wait a second. How did we get here? That's my thought process. Like, I want to see it coming if I had caught some details, but I don't want to see it coming, if that makes sense. I just want good writing.
Right.
I don't know how to explain it.
Right. It's like the
I don't want to be handheld. Let me put it like that.
The Sixth Sense. The first time I saw it, and then when the end happened, then everything else back in the movie, you're like, oh. That's why I like Stolen Pieces, because there were these pieces that happened in the story, and I was like, what is going on? And then at the end, when the person was revealed, then it's like I went back through in my head, and I was like, oh, that's the kind of book I like. Like, you know, where all these little things, they're there and they're appropriate and they fit the story, but you're like, but what is going on here? And then at the end, it ties it all together. That's what I like.
I agree. And I feel like a lot of books, and I'm not saying that people are bad writers, so don't hit dogs gonna holler. If I'm not talking about you, don't put the shoe on, okay? Let me just say that. If the shoe fit, wear it, but if it don't, keep it moving, right? No. But I feel like the mindset for a lot of books that I pick up are very much the same kind of energy as like Dora the Explorer, where it's just like, let me ask you a question. I'm gonna give you like half a second, and then I'm be like, this is the answer. And I'm just kind of like, well, why did you ask me the question if you were just gonna tell me the answer? Just go on with the story. Like, what? Well, this is not clearly not meant to be interactive, okay? Right. I don't understand. And so I feel like there are a lot of books that are like that, where they just give you the answer. They don't expect you to connect the dots on your own. And I'm like, I want to be out here putting together the dots myself. Like, yes, put them together for me at the end, so I don't make sure that I got everything. But like, also, this goes back to showing and not telling. Like, show me someone's distress and let me put the dots together. Don't be like, Susan walked into the store that day and she was distressed. Okay, well, why am I reading this book then? First of all, I don't care about Susan. Why is she at the store if she's so upset? And you didn't even tell me what she's here to get. Okay? I'm so confused.
Exactly. Yep. Your husband dropping science in the comments. He said, people who haven't read good writing don't know what it looks like. Welp, there's that.
Well.
So, I'm just saying it's 10:30.
Yes, we're
want to
gonna.
talk about Alabama.
Yes. Give me 2 seconds to read the comments. Okay, cool. Y'all agree with me. Glad I'm not alone. So,
Yeah, no,
book
we all
talking
agree with
athletes.
you.
We covered that. We're moving on because obviously y'all have been on the internet, so y'all have seen freaking Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama. I'm gonna let
I'm
Audra
just
take it
gonna
away.
say, listen, I'm just gonna say at folding chairs, first of all, the fact that they were created by a black man. And y'all, please, there's a lot of stuff surfacing right now about Nathaniel, I forget his name, but he's the black man that invented the folding chair, but they have Lewis Latimer's picture associated with it. Lewis Latimer created the carbon filament that Thomas Edison stole to make the light bulb work, so just letting y'all know that. But folding chairs will forever and now be called Alabama Slammers after I saw it on somebody's TikTok page.
The Alabama Slammers. I'm dead.
That is what they're gonna be called. They're also saying that August 5th is now gonna be a national black holiday. They're calling it
Giving.
Fade in the Water.
I saw Fade's Giving and I was like, hey, let's go.
That works for me. So basically, I know y'all know, but so there was a black security guard who asked these white people to move their boat because it was in the way and the riverboat needed to dock. They said no, being white people. So he, I guess, decided to move the boat up, like drag it up or whatever. And I guess they took offense to this. And he was like, look, I asked you to move your boat. The riverboat needs to dock. Y'all are in the way. So, the one white boy decides to swing on the black man. He throws the bat signal up in the air, i.e. his baseball hat, was like, and you asked me, he was like, I'm about to lose my job today because
he said they don't pay me enough for this.
They don't pay me enough for this.
Above my pay grade.
They start, these white boys try to jump him. When he threw the hat up, the black guy up at the top, he comes running down. He starts throwing in his punches. Somebody's filming the shit from the water.
Everybody's filming it.
And the dude, Aquaman, he jumps off the boat, jeans and all, swims across the channel, hops up, body slams, WWE style, some other white boy. And this whole brawl comes, and then these white folks, they try to get up on their boat and try to get all back and everything. And then the one white girl comes up off the back of the boat. I don't know for what reason. She should have stayed there because when she came off the boat trying to do whatever she was trying to do, she got mollywopped. And and it was just a melee. And the internet has been hilarious. I've seen the rings from Doctor, from Doctor Strange and black people coming through the rings. I've seen they showed a close up picture of the one dude's his Crocs. They were they literally turned into Crocs because his feet came through
all
the Crocs.
way through.
His Crocs were busted up. I mean, they just first of all, and here's some irony, and I know y'all know this. First of all, that exact spot is where they used to sell enslaved Africans. It was an auction block.
Yeah.
Second of all, the boat's name was Harriet II. I mean, if you can't figure out that you need to leave people alone, that the ancestors are gonna rot, I'm telling you, them ancestors probably threw that boy in the water. Go on, get over there and go fight.
You know what? All I can think about is y'all picked the right day with the right one or the wrong day with the wrong one, however you want to look at it. Because when I tell you that somebody on a boat saw you from away and was like, nah, I'm getting in on this, and jumps off a boat that's about to dock to swim to you to beat your ass. Bruh.
In that dirty water. And do you know how heavy your clothes are, jeans, when you get up out the water?
He came out, tossed his shoes off. It was let's go. And the way they walked up to that boat, the trio, the original trio, whatever, and they skipping, it's let's go.
Skipping and pulling up. When somebody is skipping towards you and pulling up their shorts, you are getting ready to get your whole ass whooped. I would suggest that you back up. You should back up and be like, I ain't in this. I'm sorry. You should try to beg for your life at that point, because when folks are skipping to my loo to come whoop your ass, your whole ass gonna get whooped.
Skipping to my loo.
I'm just saying.
It was crazy. And then the white women tried to come help, and the black woman was like, nah, stay in your lane. And then came y'all, I don't know if y'all saw it.
The man with the chair.
Not even the man with the chair. Before we get to that, there was this man in a striped shirt. When I tell you he was about to blind that white man, he was literally had his thumbs deep in that man's eye sockets, gouging his eyes out like, and then he choked him. And I was just, and then Unc with the chair came and started smashing everybody like a whack-a-mole. And I was just like, yo! He's like, you get a whack. You get a whack.
You get a whack. Everybody get a whack. And there was no gender bias, men and women alike.
Everybody got.
They was getting it all. They was getting all the smoke. They were like, okay, you want it? The ancestors rose up, the spirits of the ancestors, all them ancestors that got sold and whipped and everything else. There's all that anger rose up in all them black people around there. And they whooped everybody's ass. And then the thing is, they doxed them white folks. They were like, they own this mini mart. Nobody buys from this mini mart anymore. They were arrested. The black mayor of Alabama, of Montgomery, was like, oh, they will be brought to justice because they attacked a man for doing his job. And see, that's the thing. Yep. And Nicole Hannah-Jones had posted this on her page. She said, you all need to understand that not only was that an area where they held slave auctions, but Montgomery was also had the most brutal apartheid regime and segregation and Jim Crow, and a city that is majority black just now has its first black mayor. Mm-hmm. So when you put all of that in context, all that terrorizing white folks been doing and all of that, is it any wonder that this happened? You gonna attack a black man for doing his job, and you think that all the black people around there ain't looking for an excuse? And then there's a stone that says, "We shall defend our rights." That's like right there at the dock where they were, and I'm just like, "Yep." And the law is actually backing them because they had the right to defend that man when he got jumped by them white folks.
And the thing is, first of all, there's absolutely no reason because, like, you on a boat, homie. Just, like, move your boat. Like,
move your boat.
What are you mad about? What you fighting this man for? Because he asked you to move your boat because this other
he's black and told you to do something and you don't want to do it because you white. Because, white folks don't want to be told, especially in the South, they don't want to be told nothing by no black person. So
that was out of pocket in and of itself. But then it was also, like, I don't know. Pay attention to your surroundings because you was outnumbered from the beginning, honey boo boo.
It was like what, 5 of them, and you got all them black people on land and in the damn boat. What were you thinking was going to happen?
And then it's just like, but the thing is, it would have never gone that far if it had just been that one person who attacked that man. Honestly, but now it's like the rest of y'all want to jump in. And it's like, nah, y'all went from a 1-on-1 to a 7-on-1. It's like, nah, we not about that. We not about that.
Nope. We was gonna let them two just handle it, but you want to jump in because that's how they are. They're cowards. They can't never just let it be 1-on-1. They always got to jump in and try and outnumber. It's like, okay, well now you really fitting to be outnumbered.
Yeah.
And when they try to jump on that boat, and the one white boy jumped in the water because he was so scared. It's like, where you going, homie? We just keep the same energy. We just getting started.
It's like that meme. Come outside. We just want to talk.
We just want to talk. That's all. We just want to resolve the situation. We just want to find out what happened.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because part of the discourse that's been happening, at least on what I've seen on Twitter, and I didn't realize it's not called Twitter anymore, but I refuse to call it anything but Twitter. So we just gonna leave it at that. So part of it is that somebody had the audacity, I don't know if her profile picture what it is, whatever, but was like, she was like, what is y'all's obsession with seeing black people kick white people's ass? And it's just like, this one person quote tweeted it, and if you're in the after chat, I'll put in the Discord because he very succinctly broke it down about how white people celebrated lynchings and would have whole picnics or whatever and take pieces of the body as souvenirs.
Put an ad out in the newspaper saying, "Come join us."
And how the reason photography was invented in the first place was so that people could take pictures of lynchings and send them to each other. And that's the reason, like, you have to put certain things in envelopes because it caused a riot at the post office. And then it was talking about how one of the things that got me is how literal German Nazis were sent to the American South to study it. To study basically systemic oppression and bring it back. And even
in Germany,
and even then, they were like, so the Nazis that they sent were like, yeah, they doing too much in America. We can't do that. Like, they had to literally, the thing that we talk about all the time, literally the one of the worst genocides in history, global history. We could talk about that freely, right? But nobody wants to talk about how the fact that they got it from the American South, but somehow we're supposed to get over it because it wasn't me. My ancestors. I don't know. I have to be held responsible. Okay, yeah, we're not gonna have that conversation because that's gonna make me upset. But it's been
that
wild.
little laugh in yours, just it wasn't me. Yep, but that's right.
That's what it sounded like in my head.
I remember. I remember when my husband, and I had discovered that fact that they came here to study the American South to bring it back to Nazi to Germany and to the Nazis. I was just like, that's how you know, and that's it's always so funny to me that white people are quick to call somebody a terrorist, and I'm like, y'all are the original terrorists, okay? You stealing people, you stealing land, you bombing towns from the air, you're lynching people, you're burning them, you're selling their skin as souvenirs, you're taking pictures with them, you're putting out ads letting people know that you're going to lynch somebody, you're cutting babies out of people's stomachs when you lynch women. I mean, that is
I'm gonna have to put
definition
an advisory on this episode.
Well, I'm sorry, but that's what you do. That's terrorism in a nutshell. So I can't even believe, who was this person that asked this? Was this a white person that asked this?
No.
Then
that's why I said the profile picture. I don't know if it can be trusted.
Then I don't know, because I can't understand any black person who's actually black and not just a conservative mouthpiece for white folks. I don't understand how anybody black could ask that question. Because when I tell you that all these videos did my spirit so much good, and I can't stand black people like all in the comments talking about, I don't condone violence. I condone it. I'm not going to start it, but I absolutely condone it if you start with me.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying. I condone the hell out of it. I don't condone starting it, but I do condone finishing it.
Yeah.
So, I'm just saying, I don't understand any black person that could sit there and ask that kind of question. I found it cathartic that black folks are actually starting to stand up for themselves and say, you know what? No. What you're not going to do today is be jumping all over us and us not fight back.
And that's the thing that I think is the discussion piece that I like seeing on the internet, because so many people have this false idea that slavery was just accepted and that people didn't fight back, that the majority of people did not fight back, and that even when it came to like civil rights and change, that the majority of that change came because of peaceful protests or whatever. And it's just like, there's a place for peaceful protesting and for discussions, but also understand that you need both hands to lift something. And a large part of that comes with the non-peaceful aspects of it. It's like you need people who are willing to fight. You need people who are willing to bring up arms. There's this I don't even know if I have the video. I will try to find it for anyone in the after chat. But I saw this video, and it was about someone recommending a book, and it was called somebody has to bring the potato salad. And it was talking about this whole concept of when you were aiming for change, you have the person who is going to be the we'll call them the change maker, because we're YouTube and certain things you can't say, but there are going to be some people who are going to be the change makers, who are going to be the action or behind the words, right? But then you have some people who we're going to say the mouthpiece, the talker, the idealist, the planner, right? But then you have someone who has to bring the potato salad. So someone, when we're having these meetings, who's making sure that everybody else is taken care of. Somebody who, okay, y'all put together the bail money, now who's going to go actually pay it and get this person out? Who's going to take care of the things that happen behind the scenes so that these actions and these mouthpieces can do what they need to be doing? And I feel like so much of history, especially when it comes to Black history and talking about it, is we're only talking about the mouthpiece. We're only talking about the people, the idealist, the talker. We're not talking about the people who are just like, okay, nuck if you buck though. Like, he can talk to you all day, but I'm gonna punch you in the throat if you keep talking to me funny. You
Right,
know, like
right,
you
exactly.
need
Yep.
both sides of it if you want change. And it's so interesting because people always say like, no, we don't need that. But then when you see it in other places and other countries, we celebrate it. Like France, I don't know nothing about France. I've never been to France, but I know something about France, and they will burn some shit down real quick,
Yep.
fast and in a hurry. And I love that for them
Mm-hmm.
because they're like, no, you're not out here playing with us. Y'all not out
Yep.
here playing games. We don't subscribe to that. And
Mm-hmm.
I personally can appreciate that. But also, like, even when it came to like some of the pictures and stuff that we see historically, like the one that comes to mind is the black woman who's pushing literally a policeman's gun out of her face, like, nah, not today, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
we make memes of it now, but y'all realize that that was somebody who was literally on the front lines of violence, ready to
Mm-hmm.
perpetuate violence to get what needed to be
Mm-hmm.
done. Like,
Yep.
there are a lot of people, we hear a lot of stories about the people who resisted. And the thing is, a lot of the survivors are people who were not taking part of it in the first place, but they got that far because there were other people taking part. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's so much of it that isn't talked about. And it's interesting because, like, for me, I remember like literally talking to my dad and to my grandma, and apparently my great grandfather was a thug, like triple OG, like sit on the front porch with a shotgun when a Klan come through type person. And I was just like, bruh, wow, okay. But also, there's like, there are people like that. There are people that like,
Mm-hmm.
there's a reason why in our culture when somebody says I'm gonna cut you, that came from somebody who was really about that life. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, understand that just because some people talk about it, there are some people who are really about that though. You feel me? So
Yep, yep. Well, Women of Color Reader says, how do they think Haiti became the first free black nation in the Americas? Yep, and that's why there was so much, they doubled down on enslaved people in North America because they were worried about what was going, that Haiti and that revolution was going to spread like wildfire. But there's also a white Jewish man named Herbert Aptheker, and he is the reason why we have African American studies. This man was a communist. He was banned from teaching at universities because he said that we needed to teach the history of black people. And for anybody that says that enslaved people never revolted, he wrote a book that I have called American Negro Slave Revolts. And it goes through all of the slave revolts that he found as far as records. And for all the ones he found, there were probably many more that were never written about. And he also has another one. He has a bunch of books, but the two that I have is that one and then a documentary history of the Negro people in the United States. And that's volume 1. This man pulled no punches. He is up there with me, with Eric Foner and Howard Zen, I think his name is, who wrote A People's History of the United States. Because these are the white people that were like, no, 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 this is the way it really was. And they don't whitewash anything, and they don't have to write these books because it paints their race in a very bad light, but they wrote it anyway because they said, no, it needs to be told. So anybody comes to you and says, oh, slaves never revolted. They were happy slaves. And they prayed and, tell them to go read Herbert Aptheker's books.
honestly, like, I went to the International African American Museum that just opened up in South Carolina with my mom. And it's just like, even the museum, right? Which honestly, they're only going to show certain parts of it. It's just like, even the museum, it's just like, you can look at it, you can see, and you can know better. And the thing is, critical thinking is a blessing, right? Because think about it. Why do you need to be brutal with someone who's already doing what you want them to do? Why do you need rules and expectations? Why do you need slave patrols? Why do you need hunting dogs? Why do you need warrants? Why do you need absolute inhumane brutality in order to keep someone in line who is already in line? That doesn't make any sense. They were literally like
Nope.
that to prevent uprisings. There's a reason why they said, we're not going to let them read. We're not going to let them talk to each other when they're in the same room. We're going to actively pit them against each other because they understood that they were outnumbered and they were outclassed in every meaningful measure. So the only way to enforce any type of supremacy is to literally beat them into submission consistently. It's not like they only had to do it once and then it fell in line, because if they only had to do it
Nope.
once, then that would be it. That would be it. You wouldn't have had the Marooners. You wouldn't have had Harriet Tubman. You wouldn't have had runaway slaves. You wouldn't have had an entire underground railroad. There's a reason why there was a whole ass system for people to get away, and there was a reason why Harriet was like, if you go back, I'm gonna shoot you. There was a reason why. There were too many people who wanted it, and there are so many stories of every person who left. The first thing that they did was what? Go and find their loved ones. Try to go back and do it again, because they're not about that. There was always a resistance. There was never a time of just a complete and abject. And no one ever was like, ooh, this is what I want to be. This is what I want to stay. Yay. Like, no. There are definitely some people at the end of the Civil War who are like, basically, damned if I do, damned if I don't. Like, either I'm free, but what? I have no land, I have no property, I have no money, I don't even have my own name. I have absolutely nothing, and now I have nowhere to go. And it's not like, oh, Civil War proclamation of y'all know what I'm talking about. But it's not like that passed and all of a sudden racial tensions are gone. It's not like they're treating you equally. It's not like overnight, boom, they stopped looking at you as if you were property. So I feel like there's so much nuance to the conversation that people just gloss over. Like, oh, well, there are some people who want to stay. What are the other options, homie? Like you
didn't have anywhere else to go.
There's a reason sharecropping became a thing. Like, I don't know. There's a whole thing, but it's just like thinking critically and visiting a museum and literally just talking to people 1 or 2 generations. Like, I'm not even saying you gotta go talk to your grandma. Go talk to your mothers. Go talk to your fathers. Go talk to your aunties. Like, my parents lived through integration. Some of my aunts are still hot about that because they did not get to graduate high school with their friends and some of the things that they had to deal with. Like, you can't make those things up. Just go talk to somebody. Think critically for 2 seconds before you start spouting nonsense out of your mouth. Ooh, I'm getting a little heated. So we're going to start wrapping this up because we got about 8 minutes until we migrate on over to the after chat.
Yep.
If y'all are here, most of y'all already know the after chat is the chat that we have after the chat, where this episode, I am going to have to put an advisory because I think we slipped up. This one's not PG-13, but it is what it is. So we're going to be talking about a couple of other things because, y'all, there's some other things that I found on the internet this week that I was just like, yo, y'all are wild. Like, every time I think I want to try something new, every time I think about it, like, maybe I should open my mind. Maybe I should be, like, diverse and open-minded about things. No. Immediately no. Like, there's a reason why I do things the way that I do, and I'm just like, nah, homie. So
she said, I ain't here for it. I ain't playing no games with y'all.
Too many people out here want to be playing Monopoly, and I'm like, nobody wins a Monopoly. Literally nobody wins. Like, no thank you. I am okay. I don't want to play games with y'all, okay? Outgrew that. Thank you so much. So that being said, $5 gets you in, and it also supports the Melanin Library, which is the online database of books by Black authors. It's completely free, but I also will let you know that if y'all don't support the Melanin Library, then it's not going to exist anymore, because let me tell you, she ain't got funds. So, if you like books by Black authors and you want the database to be there, I suggest that you tell a friend to tell a friend, okay? So, that being said, this has been fun, you guys. We're going to definitely continue this. There's links in the description box for absolutely everything. So we got the books that we talked about today. We got my Patreon. You got Audra's Patreon. You got her podcast, her channel. You have my podcast. But more importantly, y'all have my books, because my books come out 3 weeks from today. 3 weeks, you guys. So if you haven't pre-ordered already, you are definitely going to want to do that. The book is good. I'm having so much fun with it. I've already started on book 3. Whoop, whoop. And it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. Go ahead and get it, because it makes me happy too. And also Ben's birthday is like next week. So if you want to get him a birthday present, buy my book. See how that works? Yeah. The 2 are 1. Okay. That being said, we are really going to migrate on over. Oh, Ben said to show the books. Got you. Oh.
And happy birthday, Ben. Happy early birthday.
Okay, there we go. So, this is the paperback.
Beautiful.
So, It's here and it matches the. They go together. So
Nice.
when you stack them, they're nice. Okay, I did this on
Nice.
purpose, y'all. They go together really well. So that's the paperback.
Nice.
And then this is the hardback, which honestly, I am gonna lie, the hardback version is my favorite because y'all know I always get to put something under the dust jacket.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Nice.
I'm excited. Then also, something that I did this time, because I was putting it together because we could talk about it in the after chat, but the way I was stressed with We Are the Origin, I was like, never again, Jesus, not on this plane of the universe because no ma'am, not doing it. Not doing it. So, since I didn't have any blurbs this time for the second book because of how I was like, we're getting this done ahead of time, like ahead of time. I have some out of context comments for We Are Dying Gods, which basically my beta readers went through and all of their like true and genuine reactions. I took some of the best ones and I put it in the front of the book. So, highly amusing. Highly amusing. So,
I love that idea. That's a good idea.
That's the hardback, and yeah, you can get both, and then I have the box. So I'll show you guys in the after chat. The box, all of the merch came, you guys. I'm so freaking excited. I'm so freaking excited. So I got candles. I got two pieces of artwork. I got bookmarks. I got the sign book. We got the map. And it's all coming together. The box itself has some exclusive quotes that are nowhere else in the book. So I'm excited.
Yay! Congratulations!
Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Also, I am going to be on Montreza's channel this Saturday, I believe. Don't get me lying because the way calendars exist for a reason because I don't know what day it is or what I'm doing. Yes, it is this Saturday on her channel. So,
and I'm next Saturday.
Hey! So, you guys go ahead, click on that, subscribe. Make sure you don't miss it. We're going to be talking about We Are the Origin. So, it's so cool. You know, we're going to talk about it in the after chat because there's a lot of good things that has been happening as well. So, we're going to end that here. Mosey on over to where you need to be. If you're not moseying on over, love you anyway. Appreciate you for being here. Tap the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications so you don't miss when we go live. I'm going live on Thursday for writing sprints. I'm bringing that back this month. So Thursdays at probably somewhere around 10, 11 o'clock, I'm be here writing until I don't feel like it no more. And not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after that, I'll be back here with Audra. And then on August 29th, release day, me and Audra are going to be here to celebrate my book release, her birthday, and how I ain't never releasing a book on nobody's birthday ever again. Yes. Make sure you write all those dates down. So. All right, you guys. Woo! That is it. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time, you guys, I hope your days are lovely and your books are interesting. Bye, you guys.
Bye.